Alright guys, what's up? Welcome to a new video. So in this one we're going to be building this free code camp survey form that you get as a project on free code camp, the responsive web design curriculum. So we're going to be doing that today. So it's actually very easy. I've already done it. So yeah, let's get started. But before we start, in your text editor we actually need something. We actually need this right here. We need this right here, this test suite, in order to get it. If you're using a different editor though, you need to create a script tag. So we're going to do that right now. And then afterwards you're going to be going into free code camp and copy this link right here. So copy and paste it in source, and if you click save, it should be right there. There you go. And afterwards make sure survey form is on the select. So make sure you select survey form, run test, and there it should be working. So now we're actually going to start building this project right now. So I'm just gonna go through it, building it, and if you see my channel before, you probably see me make tutorials and a few other stuff, but no, I'm trying something new. So yeah, I'm interested in coding, so I thought I'd try this. But anyway, let's get into it. So alright, first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to be completing the user story. So the first one is that it wants a title with ID title in H1 size text. So I'm going to do that. So we already have H1 size text, ID title right there. If we save it, it should pass the test. It should pass it. So if you run the test, actually it doesn't. Actually, we want to put in some text in it. So I think it's this right here. Copy this, and afterwards it's going to copy and paste. Boom, right there. And if you run it, there, total 17 passed. So that's what you must do. Alright, so the next one is, I can see a short explanation with ID description in p-size text. So I'm going to create a paragraph tag. Oops. So I'm going to just copy that. And that's actually this right here. Copy, paste, boom, easy. If you save, run test, 0 to 17. Alright, next one. I can see a form with ID survey form, so it will be, so this will be right here, all this. So I'm going to click form, and then it needs an ID of remove option right here. It needs an ID of survey form. Enter it into a new lines because we're going to be adding a lot of stuff. And let me save that and run the test. 4 to 17. Then afterwards it wants, inside the form element, it wants to enter a name in a field with ID name. If I do not enter the name, I say HTML5 validation error. So that one is easy. I'm just going to add an input with text. So we say text right here, ID of name. If you save that, there it is. Run the test. Still 4. Oh yeah, forgot. Add required right there. So then afterwards we run the test again. It's 5 out of 17. Anyway, before I go into the next one, you may realize that I might be using an extension. So like if I type in like form, I can like automatically get a form element. So I'm going to show you guys the snippet if you're using VS Code, what it is. The extension is HTML snippets by Mohammed. So that is it right there, and that's how it works. So that's the extension that I'm using. That is if you're using VS Code. But anyway, let's move on to the next one. Next one, we need an ID of email. So inside the format, I am required to enter an email. That's what I'm going to do. So input email with name. We need it. ID of email required. Save. Alright, run the test. 7 out of 17. So inside the form I can enter a number in a field with ID number. So that would be input number. Which one? Oops. Input number. Boom. Number. And boom, easy. If I enter numbers outside the range of the number input, I will see an HTML file error. Alright, so this one is easy. Min, so you have to put in min attribute, and I think this one is age actually. So yeah, age number. So I'm gonna say 0 and then max, basically anything like 100. So if you run the test, 10 out of 17. Next one, for the name, email, and number input fields inside the form, I can set corresponding labels that describe the purpose of each field with the following IDs: ID, name, label, email. So what they want is a label for each input field. So I'm gonna add in label for name. Different test. Already need IDs. Alright. So big. Number label. If I click run test, 11 out of 17. Alright, so for the name, email, and number input fields, I can say placeholder text that gives me a description or instructions for each field. That's also easy. Alright, so I added all the placeholders in the input tags. I'm gonna separate it to make it much easier to see. So if I save this, it should there gives me these. If I run test, 12 out of 17 pass. Inside the form element, I can see an option from a drop down that has corresponding ID drop down. So this is right here, which option best describes your current role inside the form. So I'm going to create a drop down menu that has all of these options. Alright, so in order to do the drop down menu, it's going to be select. Now after that, it's going to add in option. Supposed to have an ID of drop down, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. So I'm gonna do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I have added all of the options right here. So if you go here, run test, 13 out of 17. So for 13, it says inside the form element, I can see a field from one or more groups of radio buttons. Each group should be grouped inside the name attribute. Each radio button must have a value attribute. So this is what he's talking about right here. Would recommend free code come to a friend. But before this, I'm going to add a label for this drop down menu. label for drop down. Actually, it's not really a label though. It's not really a label. Looks like more of a paragraph tag, but yeah, let's do that. Because after this I'm going to like fix it up, so don't worry, we're just going to pass the test and afterwards I'm going to fix it up. Alright, so let's do the radio buttons now. Number 13. So in order to do these radio buttons, I want you to come here, input, which is radio, and you need 3 of these right here. What does it say inside the format? And it should be grouped using the name attribute. Alright, that should be easy. So each one of these do need a value attribute as well. So value, boom, and let's see. Wait, name attribute. Wait, what's the name for these two? Let's copy it. And boom. Alright, so I have these radio buttons now. But wait. Still think. Oh wait. All of them should have the same name attribute actually. Hold on. All of them need the same name attribute, so I'm going to call it recommend. So that, there we go, perfect. So they should all have the same name attribute. That's how it should be. So if we run the test, 14 out of 17, but I don't see the names right here for them. So this we need a label for each. There we go. Alright, there we go. So when you click, there we go. Alright, now we have radio buttons. So the next one is, what is your favorite feature of Coconut? Now I don't think this is in the test actually. I don't think this is in the test because it asks the format can select several fields from here, so checkboxes. So that'll be here, but we're going to add this. Alright, there we go. But alright, before I move on, for the drop down menus, you may realize that select current role is an option, but we want it to be disabled, kind of like this, because it's disabled. So the way how you do that, it's you go to select option and then you just put in disabled in the option tab. So that means when you click, it won't be there, but when you come to the checkbox you want it to be selected, so you also have to add selected right there. So that means when it refreshes, it has select option, but it's disabled. So that's how it works. So you want disabled and selected. So selected will automatically select the item, because if you put selected as, let's say, projects, then that means when we come, projects would already be selected, but we don't want that. So that's how it works. Alright, the next test, it asks for the checkbox. So these are checkboxes. It's a lot. It's around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 checkboxes. So we're going to add that now. first the paragraph tag to add this. And afterwards input checkbox. I'm going to do this 10 times. So if you want to know how I do this, you just have to press Shift and Alt. Wait, you highlight it first and then you press Shift and Alt, and then you'll be able to copy and paste it. So let me do this. So Shift Alt and then press the down key actually, and that's how you do it. Alright, so we have 10 checkboxes right here. So if we save, it should happen. Right there. But it wants each of them must have a value attribute. Oh yeah, right. Must have value. So I should already did that. If you run test, 14 out of 6, so each box have a value attribute. Oh, I did that. So alright, to figure out the problem, I think each of them must have a value attribute in it, like actually. So we need front-end projects, front-end. Alright, so I added all of the value attributes. If we go in, run test, there, 15 out of 17. X1 inside the form element, I'm presenting with a text here at the end for additional comments, so that would be right down here actually. So that'll be right down here. That one is also easy. Text area. Alright, so there's the text area right there. So if you run test, 16 out of 17. And the last one is inside the form element, I present you with a button. ID submit to submit all my inputs. So let's say the button. ID submit. So you'll say type equal submit. Submit. So that means when we come here, run test, and there we go. Everything has been passed. So everything has been passed, but as you can see, it looks terrible. It looks terrible, and I'm not going to leave it here like this. So what I'm going to do is that I'm actually going to now style it. Now obviously if we actually put in the solution link, it would pass because we passed every test, but we don't want to do that, you know. We also want to practice CSS, so we're also going to do that. We're going to go through the CSS, and yeah, just going to do some CSS. But not only CSS, I'm actually going to, alright, you know what, I'll like do all the CSS and everything. I'll do all the CSS, and I'll do I'll also like add a few other stuff like the labels for the checkboxes, and then I'll just come back. Alright, so I'm back. Let me tell you guys what I changed. So for all of the elements, I added a div, so that way I could easily separate them. So I did add them all into a div like that. Then afterwards up where is it? Yeah, right here. I added disabled, selected, select current role. Right there. For improvement, what would you like to see improve? I did a break tag, so that way the elements could be like this. So each of them have a break tag. And yeah, now we're going to get into the CSS, but before that, I'm going to teach you guys how to actually import a Google font, because in this project you use a custom one called Poppins. So teach you that. So go into Google Fonts, fonts.google.com. You're going to search for Poppins right here. Then afterwards you're going to go to regular 400, then click select this style. Afterwards you're going to click on you can either click on link or import, whichever one you want to use. I'm going to use import, so import it, copy, paste up here, install.css. I'm going to paste up here, Control V, boom. Then afterwards, to add it to the whole entire thing, I'm going to have an asterisk, and before you begin writing CSS, make sure you have the margin at 0, padding 0, box size in border box. I'm going to add in font family, then it's going to be Poppins with sans serif, like that. Boom. So because of that, so that means everything, there we go, and there we go. So that's how everything should look, just like this. So everything has the font. Everything looks a little bigger though, but it's alright. So you can close out to Google Fonts, because that's all we need. And now we're gonna get into the CSS right here. So like, I'm just gonna okay guys, so I'm gonna do the CSS, then afterwards we'll just go through it after that. This is the end result. So that's the end result. So let me explain it. So I imported the Poppins font, then I made a root with some variables for colors. Then afterwards I did the Poppins font color white for everything, since everything is white. Then afterwards I just copied this from inspect. So the way I got this, I just inspected it, inspect, and then I went all the way down here and I just copy and pasted this. So that's how that one worked. Afterwards I gave the title center and margin top up here. Then the description one, center it, italic, margin bottom, which is right here. Afterwards font weight, text shadow, font size. Afterwards the survey form, which is all of this right here. All that survey form is I just added background color, padding, border radius, width, margin top, all of that. So padding, so with a space around it, and margin auto, so that way I could center it. Also I did a width of 720 pixels, like that, so that way it could be smaller. Afterwards survey div, margin bottom, that's like all of the divs right here. All these divs, they leave a space automatically. Then afterwards main input, 100%, border radius, border, padding, color, all that right here for all the inputs right there. And afterwards select, which is basically the same as input, body color, margin top, input options. That's for the options. I just added a color because I set everything to white, so because of that the options, they weren't in this black looking color, so I did that. Now towards the radio buttons, I made them bigger. I did a margin of 15, so they're a lot bigger. Same thing with the checkbox, label and all of that stuff. Text area, color, give it a minimum height, so that way it could be like this, so I can't like resize it left or right, but I can change the top. So that's what minimum and maximum does. So minimum height meaning that if I resize it, the minimum height is always going to be 120 pixels, which is why I can't bring it up any further. Same thing with minimum width, it has to be 100%, but I also set the maximum width to 100%, so I can't put it to the right. And I did a margin top as well, and then the button color it up. I did the green color and it looks like this. Right, I forgot one thing, cursor. Alright, so that way you can click like that. Alright, so if you click it, please fill out name, and yeah, it works. So that's basically it for this survey form. In order to submit it now, we're going to do this. So here's what we're going to do. So make sure that all the tests are passed right here. Afterwards, we're going to go into the you can build your project using by this link right here, using this code pen template. Afterwards, we're going to remove the commented text right there, the comments. So move all of that. Afterwards, we're going to select everything in the HTML document, copy it, paste it in. Everything in the CSS document, copy it, paste it in, and from there on out, copy this link and paste it, Control V, then click that, and then that will be it. Then click submit and go to next challenge, and that's it. That's basically it. So hopefully you enjoyed, and if you did, then press like, and see you next time. Peace out.